Everybody has had to deal with their goggles fogging in airsoft before, and it sucks. If you can't see, you're not going to be very effective. So in today's video, let's talk about a few ways you can change up your kit to avoid airsoft goggle fog altogether. What's up, Airsofters? My name is Lane and welcome to the BB Warrior. Now before we talk about how to combat airsoft fog, first we need to understand why it happens. Now fogging in airsoft occurs when the inside of your lenses, the air surrounding that, is going to be warmer and have more moisture. It's going to be more humid than the colder, drier air on the outside of them. When this hot and cold air meets, it forms precipitation, which ultimately leads to fogging and making it so that you can't see as well out of your lenses. Now, mini science lesson aside, knowing that, what we need to avoid is that hot air on the inside of your lenses and making sure that the air temperature stays as even as possible between the inside of your lenses and the outside. So one of the main things that's going to cause that moisture and cause that hot air is going to be your body itself. It's going to be the heat of your body, of your sweat when you're moving, and knowing that there's a few key things that you can change with your gear to kind of cool yourself down, which will be beneficial in the summer, but also prevent fog. And one of the big things that you can do right off the bat is switch up your headgear. Now, I love helmets for airsoft. They allow me to use night vision, they look cool, but they trap a ton of heat. If you've ever used a helmet, especially a real helmet like the ACH that I have behind me, it traps in a ton of heat, your hair gets all sweaty, it creates a lot of moisture, it just gets really hot up there. And the issue with the helmets like these is that by trapping that all in, eventually it's going to lead to sweat dripping down your face, it's going to make you warmer overall, and that is going to lead to fogging. So especially big helmets like these, where there's no holes cut in them, like the OptiCore Carbon, or even like this big Russian helmet here. It's heavy, it has the second visor on there, and unfortunately, this one has taken one too many hits. That's just a lot of heat, a lot of moisture, and that's going to create fog. So what should you do instead? Well, I think that you should switch up your headgear to something like a baseball cap. I like these ones from Condor because they are covered in the back. And what I do is I tend to wear these backwards because I find that the brim above my head kind of traps in the moisture and heat from my breath and leads to goggle fogging happening more quickly. Knowing that, the other thing that you can do to try to avoid the moisture in your breath, because if you've ever fogged when it's kind of cold out, you notice that it gets worse, as you breathe out. The moisture and heat in your air, if it gets trapped around your head, is just going to go upwards, and then hey, it's in your goggles and you're fogging. So I like to avoid things like full balaclavas that encompass your head, or even little neck gaiters like these. I find that the cheaper ones that are made out of polyester just tend to trap heat, trap moisture in them, and then that moisture makes its way into your goggles and it makes it so that you can't see. So on that note, what I do like is I do like headbands a lot. I think that headbands, even in conjunction with a hat, if you just have something that goes across your forehead, what that's going to do is going to capture some of the sweat. It's going to make it so that it's not going down in around your eyes, and it's going to help you avoid fogging and make things more comfortable overall. So I think those are a couple of big changes that you can make to your headgear to make sure that you're avoiding some heat around your body, and that subsequently is going to help you avoid fogging. The other big change that you can make to your kit is investing in better goggles. Now, I think that airsoft goggles are one of those things that you really should not skimp out on. Buy the best one that you can afford, because not only are they a piece of safety equipment, but spending a little bit more on airsoft goggles is going to get you a much better product. I see so many people when they're first starting out in airsoft or even years into the hobby, they spend a lot of money on their replica, on their other gear, on admission, whatever it may be, but then they spend like 15, 20 bucks on their goggles. And I think that by spending a little bit more, you get a much better product. So my favorite right now are the ESS crossbows, which I actually just did a review of these the other week. If you want to check that out, there's a card in the upper right hand corner right now. And what I love about these is they're lightweight, they have good airflow despite being full seal, and they very rarely fog. I think there are a lot of great options out there besides those that are kind of like shooter glasses styles. You can use paintball masks like the Dye i5 never fogs. It's a fantastic mask. But spending a little bit more and finding something that you like can definitely be a huge advantage on the field and help avoid fogging. Now there are other options out there. There are like the ESS turbo fans that have a built-in fan. The nice thing about those is that they pull in cold air with the fan, which means that it's going to combat any hot air around you, and it can really help to avoid fogging altogether, or if you are fogging already, it helps to fight that fog and it just kind of magically goes away before your eyes. The first time I ever used them and it took away all the fog, I was like, it was a magical moment. It blew my mind that the fog was disappearing right before my eyes. But no matter what airsoft goggles you buy, what you need to do is you need to make sure that you take care of them. Now, most goggles, especially ones that are going to be better quality, are going to have a anti-fog coating right out of the factory. This is going to be a coating that helps to alleviate having moisture build up on the lenses. It's going to make sure that you can see well and help to make sure that you don't fog. But if you don't take care of your goggles, eventually it's going to wear off. I am really guilty of the sin where at the end of the day, I'm like, I take off my goggles and I just throw them in my bag with all my other crap, all the other gear. And the issue with that is it's taking away from that coating. And the easy way that you can tell if your goggles are starting to lose their anti-fog coating is if you start to see what I refer to as hot spots of fogging. If your goggles are always fogging in the same spot, that means that that material, that coating is starting to wear off. If you're getting scratches, it's wearing off. So my advice is to always just take that extra 30 seconds and put your goggles in the carrying case that they came in. Most of these are going to be microfiber bags that aren't going to scratch up the lens and help you to preserve that coating. And if you do have lenses that are a little beat up, a little scratched, like these ZSS crossbows, consider replacing them. It's just going to lead to a much better experience in airsoft. And again, it's safety equipment. Don't you want to invest in being able to see, being able to keep your eyes safe? Of course you do. Now, the final thing that you can do, no matter what you change on your kit, no matter what goggles you have, I think another layer of protection and another layer of assurance is always recommended. And you can do that by using an anti-fog wipe, spray, or gel. And the one that I like to use personally is Fog Stop. Now, they were kind enough to sponsor today's video, but I've been using Fog Stop for 3 years with all of my airsoft goggles, and it has made a huge change. The way the Fog Stop works is simple. You just take a little bit of this paste, which a little bit goes a long way, and just apply it to the inside of your goggles. What this is going to do is it's going to form a natural barrier to make sure that any water and any fog can't accumulate on the lens itself. By providing this barrier, it eliminates fogging. It makes it so that you don't have any, even in hot, humid conditions, and it honestly works great. I've been using one of these little tins for just a little over 2 years before I had to replace it. So again, a little goes a very long way. The other thing that I like about Fog Stop compared to some homemade options is it doesn't tint your lenses. I've heard of people using dish soap, Dawn, things like that before, but I feel like they always leave a little bit of a bluish green tint, and it makes it so that even if you're not fogging, well, you still can't see very well. Now, Fog Stop is a UK-based company. However, if you live in America, the shipping over here is not only fast, but it is pretty affordable as well. It took about 2 weeks to get to my home. So if you want to check out Fog Stop, try it out for yourself, well, I do have a link down in the description below. You can use this coupon code right here to save 10% off your order. But I think that having a second layer of protection is just an absolute no-brainer to make sure that you never fog on the field and have a good time. But that's going to do it for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed. If you learned anything from today's video or you have some tips of your own to avoid airsoft goggle fog, make sure to leave them down in the comments. But if you want to watch more videos, why don't you check out this video up here that I think you'd like, or you can check out this video down here that YouTube thinks that you'd enjoy. But my name is Lane, and I will see you all next time.